He really knew Michael Jackson? All right, this is another storage auction story. This is a pretty interesting one, a pretty interesting unit. I got this unit, it's probably been about a year and a half ago. It was a live auction. They opened up the unit and it's a big unit. It's like 20, 30 foot deep. I don't remember the exact, I just remember it was pretty big and it was kind of a mess. But there's like some really ornate, fancy looking bedroom pieces I can see. And then there's couch cushions kind of thrown in the front, but the couch looks pretty nice, kind of high end. Maybe not exactly 100% in style now, but when it was bought, looked like it was bought, like I would guess probably in the 90s, that it would have been a pretty high end set. And there were boxes and bags and everything. Like I said, it was kind of a mess, but I could see some, high end signs that, might be a good unit, might be some good treasures hidden in there. So, live auction, not a whole lot of people there. So I can kind of tell most people aren't interested, or at least I think they're not. So I started at $50. I was like, I'll do $50 on it. And nobody else bid. So I got the unit for 50 bucks. And, which was sometimes not uncommon at a live auction for a unit if it was kind of messy and a big one to not get a lot of bids sometimes. But I get it for 50 bucks and, went back to get the unit later on the next day or later that day. I don't really remember exactly. Brought help with me. Get into the unit and start moving stuff, and the bedroom set that there were pieces to, it turned out to be like really, really nice. It was an Italian made bedroom set. That really smooth veneer, but like really, really well made stuff. So, I was looking at this thing, I'm like, for 50 bucks, I can't lose just the bedroom set alone. Is gonna, pay for that unit many times over. Even with my help and my overhead, just the bedroom set alone, made the unit. The couches that ended up being in there, they were decent. Like I said, not really in style, but they were kind of that, more 90s style, fancy, upscale kind of look. And, we started getting into the unit, and there's lots of bags and boxes, and kind of a little bit disappointing. We start finding a lot of paperwork and a lot of books. But the books, we started finding more and more books about karate, every form of karate and taekwondo and jiu-jitsu, you name it. And we just kept finding more and more books. And we started finding like the business papers, and the guy owned a dojo. So he was super into karate, and then his last name was Lee. So that we started finding a lot of Bruce Lee books and Bruce Lee stuff. So we started figuring out that, that he was a big fan of Bruce Lee. And so he was in karate, either that got him into karate or he got into karate and became a fan of Bruce Lee. I'm not really sure. About halfway through the unit, against the wall, there's this like poster kind of looking thing. It almost looks like a school project, like a piece of poster board with all these pictures stuck all over it. And right in the middle is Michael Jackson. And I really didn't pay no attention to it for a long time. I just like, okay, that's weird. I thought maybe it was one of his kids' project or, whatever. I didn't really know. But then we started finding some of the paperwork and everything and different things in there. And then we started reading it. It turned out that this guy was actually a professional bodyguard also. And lo and behold, I'm looking through and I'm seeing there's like actual real pictures in this notebook. And he's Michael Jackson's bodyguard. And I'm looking at this picture, and then it kind of looks familiar, like one that was on that poster board. And I look over at the poster board, it's the same one. And what it is, it's Michael Jackson standing on this huge set of steps coming out of a big building, almost like in front of a courthouse or something. These huge steps, and you've got Michael Jackson there, and all these camera people around. And right next to him, because I'd already seen pictures of this guy that we got the unit, is the man that that I bought his unit. He's standing there like right next to him, like a bodyguard would. And find more pictures of him with Michael Jackson, and more kind of read more in the unit. And he turns out that he had been a bodyguard for Michael Jackson, for Whitney Houston, other famous people and like several like U.S. senators and people really high up in government. So apparently he was the real deal when it came to being a bodyguard, and apparently he must have been the real deal as far as karate, taekwondo, jiu-jitsu, whatever it is he was doing. All of them, I'm not sure. There literally ended up being hundreds and hundreds of books. I'd probably say between 200 to 400, so probably around 300 books in there about karate. There was some, like nunchucks and little practice, those wooden practice sticks, and like padded, like for kickboxing, all the pads for your head and elbows and shins and all that kind of stuff. All that kind of stuff was in there. Not a whole lot of personal stuff, the furniture, and then all the karate stuff. And there was, a lot of paperwork and, business type stuff. But like I said, the bedroom set made the unit, and then there was like a matching curio cabinet that matched the bedroom set that was Italian made. It was beautiful. I mean, if you've ever seen like Italian made furniture and just look up close at the way that everything's screwed together and fastened together, it's just like, it's different than most. It's really, really, really well done. So this stuff is very nice. And I can't remember at all what I sold this set for. It's been a while, and a lot of times I can remember, but this set I don't remember. I know it was several $100s at least, and then the china cabinets and the couches. So can't really tell you exactly what I made on the unit. I know I made money. That wasn't really the big deal with this one. It was more the fact that it was just interesting because the dude was Michael Jackson's bodyguard. And then there was also another twist. I kept finding there's the same book in there, like brand new, this paperback book. And apparently it was a book that this guy wrote. Like I said, his last name was Lee, like Bruce Lee. But the book, I started looking into the book, and then I was like, oh, this is a book that, that he wrote. And I'm kind of reading through it and everything, and kind of, seeing what's going on. And the book is about him being a descendant of General Robert E. Lee, that the Confederate general. And the guy that I get his unit, he was a black man, and of course, Robert E. Lee was a white general that for the Confederate. So his book talked about how he had done all the research and everything, and spoken to his great granddad and his granddad that were still alive when he had written this book, anyways. And did all this research, and everything led to the fact that that he was a descendant of General Robert E. Lee. And he actually contacted some museum. I think it said the Robert E. Lee Museum. I don't know if it was that or like a Confederate museum or a Civil War museum, and tried to talk to somebody there. But of course, they told him that Robert E. Lee had no black descendants, and that was pretty much as far as he got with them. And whether any of that's true, or if his research is true, I have no idea. Very likely it could be true, but I really have no idea as far as that goes. But that was an interesting twist. So overall, the unit, like I said, don't remember how much money I made. I only paid $50, so I know I made money after everything was said and done. But there, like I said, there wasn't a whole lot besides the furniture and then a little bit of karate stuff. But it was just a very interesting unit to know that this guy, had been a bodyguard for Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston, other famous people, and several U.S. senators and famous people like that, and had the pictures in there to prove it, and a lot of other paperwork and everything to prove it. So that was a pretty cool unit. But that's just another example that you never know what you're going to find, what twist you're going to take, whose stuff you're going to end up getting when you buy storage units. And and then you'll go out there and buy some, you'll end up with stories like this, or maybe even crazier ones, maybe actually getting somebody's, famous, their unit. It does happen. I've seen it happen, but that's the story for today. I got a lot more to come, and I'm out there buying all the time still, so I got new stories that are that are being made, as time goes by. But if you want to hear more stories like this, more tips on the resale business, more storage auction videos where we're actually loading the units and all that kind of stuff, then hit the subscribe button, like this video, share it, Send us a comment, and y'all have a good one.